I had this interesting experience where, so when I started to interview, so when I thought I wanted to be a VC, and I went and kind of like talked to Mayfield, but I got some informational interviews, and I kind of spoke to a bunch of other firms. And I remember meeting Mike Moritz at Sequoia.
Sure.
And we had this meeting, and he basically, it was a very short meeting, but he basically said, I don't think being a VC is really tough. And he kind of like tried to dissuade me from being a VC. And in hindsight, what I realized is it's so smart, because it's like, that's actually what you want to do, because then you want to see how that person reacts to that feedback.
Sure.
And it's a great tell.
Right.
The guy that comes back and is like, I really want this, probably really wants it.
Yeah.
And then you're stripping away, well, do I want it because of the title? Do I want it because of the salary? Do I want it because, the perceived importance of it?
Right.
And you get to the heart of why you want to do something.
Right.
And so it's a really good tool, giving like really tough directed feedback, because you get to gauge that person's what's really driving them better than anything else.
It's like asking somebody when there's two hearts out there and like the turn comes and it's a brick and you're just like, oh, so you didn't connect. You didn't connect, huh?
You didn't connect.
And you just wait for that response and say, yeah, I guess you didn't either.
And what's interesting too is like, the benefit of someone giving direct feedback actually in today's world is so many people shy away from it. You try to sugarcoat stuff, because the culture that we live in is about just kind of like come along, get along.
Right.
Let's just paste everything over with pleasantries. Let's make everybody feel good. Everybody gets a star. Everyone gets to try to score a goal.
Gen Y nonsense, yeah. I participated.
Participation is more important than the actual accomplishment.
Right.
And so I think we're veering to a culture of inclusiveness that's gone to an extreme of just kind of like now no longer recognizing and celebrating as much the actual achievement.
Right. It actually debilitates people because they think, oh, well, I showed up for work, therefore I'm a success.
And what's incredible is like, I remember like at Facebook, like, I was I was known as a relatively straightforward, kind of very,
tell it like it is guy.
Tell it like it is guy. And it's empowering for people.
Right.
When you tell them where they stand,
right.
You tell them a path to course correct, you celebrate what they did right, what they did wrong. Dude, man, people flower, they blossom under that kind of stuff.
What about when they've been told their whole life, though, you're so good for participating, you're so smart, and then someone like you who's got a lot of experience says, you know what? You're actually not that good, and your performance hasn't been that great, and you're going to really need to double down.
Yeah, I think,
is it just cold water at first? Do they get in shock?
I mean, this is like, it's like, what are the stages of kind of like
grief? Yeah.
Yeah, there are like some number of stages that people go through.
Right.
And it's funny to me, but it's like, there's a lot of people in that age category for whom the first time they get really directed critical feedback, they get into this weird place. But you need to sort of hold their hand to get to the other side. But most people come out the other end a lot more productive.
But Gen X didn't have that same issue, did it?
I mean, look, you have to remember, like, you and I grew up in a culture where, like, things weren't as fast, information wasn't as available. At the same time, like, I think we grew up in an environment where there weren't as many things going on.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain, like...
It wasn't dynamic.
Because I don't think we're that much older, because, like, I'm 35.
But it's radically different.
But it is radically different.
Right. I mean, you went to a job for 4, 5, 6 years, and if you spent less than 4 years in a job, people were like, well, you're a job hopper.
Well, so what's so funny is, like, I remember thinking, when I started, people used to say, you should be there for 10 years.
Right.
And when I was planning to leave after 5.5, it felt like, oh my God.
Yeah, you broke some huge rule.
5.5 years, you broke a huge rule.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah, how did you do
What will
that?
happen to your career?
Exactly.
It's going to look really bad on that resume.
Exactly.
And now nobody cares about a resume, right? It's like, what is your blog? What is your GitHub? What is your passion project?
Yeah.
Did you develop an app on the side? Who cares about a resume?
Yeah.
Did you know when you met Mark that he was just clearly destined for awesomeness and greatness? Was it super clear, or did it just something like you watched him emerge and to become
look, here's the thing.
amazing person?
I think a lot of people are born with immense potential.
Right.
But what differentiated him was immense potential married with what I think is the most important characteristic, that, as for me anyways, which is immense discipline and an ability to listen like I've never seen in anybody else.
Wow.
That guy just listens. He constantly listens. And it's just like, we'll be in meetings and like he's just always taking in viewpoint after viewpoint after viewpoint. And it's an amazing thing. Like I used to tell people, it's kind of like in mathematics, Monte Carlo simulation. Like you do a random walk. You try to figure out all the different possible permutations and scenarios. And I've always perceived, this is my perception, that he has this ability to do that, where he's cycling through all of these complicated decisions. And he's taking in all of this data. And the thing that he does better than anybody else is he makes really holistic, well-grounded decisions, and he doesn't do things to placate people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That takes immense discipline.
Right. It takes balls. I mean, basically,
It takes courage, yeah.
It takes a lot of courage to be looking at a bunch of people
Is balls a swear word?
No, I don't think balls are okay.
Okay, so that's not going
No. Just let's have him. But I mean, he basically has that conviction and can do it in a room with people who have 10 more years experience than him.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes something unique.
Dude, he's impressive beyond a level that I can really describe in words. He's an incredibly impressive.
If you want your business to succeed online, it has to stand out, and that's why you need a beautiful, world-class website. The good news is you don't have to hire an expensive designer anymore, nor do you need a bunch of developers. No, Squarespace has all the tools you need to claim your domain and start building your company. Hey, maybe you got a product to sell. Maybe you want to show off some samples of your work. Maybe you've got a new service you're providing. Well, Squarespace is the all-in-one tool you need for your business to grow and flourish. And they offer beautiful templates. Maybe you want to start an online course, or you're scheduling appointments for people. Maybe you're generating client invoices. All of that is built into the product. Everything you create with Squarespace is pre-optimized to show up in search engines as well. So you don't need to hire some expensive SEO person. Nope. They're building your meta descriptions, they're setting you up with an auto-generated sitemap, and the SEO is done before you even get started. Plus, there's a new AI-powered feature. It's called Blueprint, which makes it easier than ever before to customize your website and make it really pop. So check out squarespace.com/twist for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/twist to get 10% off your first website or domain purchase. That's squarespace.com/twist.